negative, or neutral, please let me know. And thank you guys for being here. Let's hang out. Let's wait to see. Thank you for joining me on my personal YouTube channel. We were talking about we were actually watching some very cool Leprechaun movies. You may know I love all things scary movie. Tubi has some awesome scary movies, including some awesome Leprechaun movies. So we watched Leprechaun in Space and then Leprechaun Returns, which was quite fun. Thank you for the Lucky Clover in honor of St. Patrick's Day. I guess technically St. Patrick's Day is finished now, but still, thank you for the clover. I very much appreciate it. How is it going? Today we talked about, earlier today, we talked about Freemasonry and St. Patrick's Day. I asked some questions on the YouTube page about it, so let's see who answered those. Those, if you're paying attention, some quizzes. But for now, let's just hang out. Let's see who joins. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. These 1 a.m. streams, I don't have any specific topics. I just hang out, chat about whatever. Oh, we got good to see ya. How's it going? Once again, please take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and thank you all for hanging out. How's it going? Thank you for the four-leaf lucky clover, again in honor of St. Patrick's Day. What was the movie that you watched? Um was it a St. Patrick's Day related movie? Thank you for the heart floating on clouds. It's very kind as well. Nice. Which one? I did. I watched two of them. I watched Leprechaun in Space and Leprechaun Returns, which it's crazy to think that's in 2018, which is nuts to me to think it's been that long. I feel like that movie came out like a couple of years ago. Okay, that's awesome. I am not a 33rd degree. However, 33rd degree, nothing but respect. Keep in mind though, right? And people need to understand in the chat, the highest degree within Freemasonry is the third degree of Freemasonry. 33rds, it's an honorific, it's a special title, but it doesn't put you higher than a third degree, nor than let's say Knights Templar, nor than let's say a potentate, etc., etc. That's Leprechaun in the Hood. NGD mining, and it's an absolutely awesome one. There's Leprechaun in the Hood and Leprechaun Back to the Hood. If I recall correctly, Ice-T is Leprechaun in the Hood. Original. Okay, I think part six is the best one. I love Leprechaun, Friday the 13th, part six, Jason Lives, followed in a close second by Leprechaun, or Friday the 13th, part three, I Can Talk, 3D. I love them both very much. Um, Kurt, if you ask my family forever, but I like to think I'm pretty smart. Um, oh, it's a great one. No, I mean, I'm sure there were some Masons who were hunters back in the day, and there still are some Masons who are hunters, but I mean, I don't know how many of them are trapping animals for their pelts. Certainly, I don't think it's a good way to make a living anymore, though Freemasonry was never the fur trade. That's a different profession than stonemasonry. Um, But Friday the 13th is absolutely an awesome franchise. I'm a huge fan of all of those what you call them? I'm trying to think of the right word for them. All of the sort of say franchise players. So Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween. But my favorite has always been Nightmare on Elm Street. Whether I am or not, what difference does it make? And Del Boy, if you're missing me, make sure you turn your notifications on. That way, whenever I'm having a new channel or a new stream, you'll be able to find it. You'll get the notification. So turn on that bell. And son_son16, would it make a difference if I was Jewish or not, either for this stream or for Freemasonry? It would not. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Actually, I wrote a whole paper about, or a whole Medium story about what about Nightmare on Elm Street appeals to me. I don't know if you follow anything on Medium, but if you do, you can find it there. It's called Meeting My Horror Heroes. It was the characters and the fact that I've always thought the quote unquote disposable teenagers in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise were always a lot better and stronger, and I enjoyed them a lot more than, let's say, the other characters, even though all of them have their skills and their strengths, and they're all great movies. I think Nightmare on Elm Street has the strongest set of characters. Did you get my comment on YouTube about the bottle of whiskey? I think, yes, I did. Thank you for the comment, Jeremy. And keep those comments coming. It helps out big time, and I'm grateful for it. Son, once again, why does it make a difference if one is or is not Jewish? From the second one, okay, that's a great character. For me, it's Alice Johnson, who portrayed by Lisa Wilcox. She's my favorite character, not just in the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, but in any movie. She's my favorite character. No, I've never drank blood from anything, skull or otherwise. I have no interest in drinking blood from a skull or anything else. That is a bit too much for me. Have I ever experienced something? So, no, I've experienced things that I cannot explain, but in that case, it's not about rational or irrational. It's just I don't know, right? So, for example, there are things where I've experienced them and I don't know what the solution is or the answer is, but that doesn't mean I don't believe it's possible to irrationally explain them. I just don't have the information at the time to explain it. It's like UFOs. I don't believe they're aliens. I think we just don't know what they are yet. It could very well be hallucinations, sunspots, military tech. Not knowing does not mean there's no rational explanation. Um, it would be awesome to have you. Well, it's south technically, right? If you're coming from, I forget where it is you're coming from, but 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., it would be wonderful to have you here. Uh, March 28th, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. I do not know who the Hooded Messenger is. Please hit like and subscribe. MTCN, I am not vegan, but I do try to eat a lot more vegetables than I used to. Please hit like and subscribe. Dust for the Snake, I am not God, I promise you. I am asking for your like and subscribe though. Hallucinations or sunspots, I mean, I don't, for UFOs or military technology that's been classified. I think all of those are possible. I don't believe aliens have ever visited Earth. And I don't believe in the supernatural myself. I enjoy the supernatural from an entertainment perspective. I love movies about the supernatural. I love all that stuff, but that doesn't mean necessarily that I believe it's legitimate. Um, I don't know what Proverbs 30:14 means because I can't. Can you quote it in the chat? Um, I think we're probably alone, but even if we're not, I don't think they've visited us, right? Um, it might just be that the vastness is so vast they can never reach it in any decent amount of time to get here. I don't think geometry is supernatural, but I do think geometry represents the rational nature of the universe. Um, Sorry, the henchman, I don't know to what you're referring about the Hooded Messenger, but it sounds like what you're talking about is from National Treasure. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. To everybody watching this, consider giving some of those gifts, super chats, etc., etc. I am not religious. I do believe in a supreme being, but I'm not religious. To be a Freemason, you must believe in a supreme being, but you must not be You don't have to be religious. You can be. We have Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Islamic, right? Protestant, Catholic, Masons. But we also have many Masons who do not necessarily believe in a supreme being, or sorry, who are not religious, but who believe in a supreme being. So you need to keep that in mind. You may believe in a supreme being without necessarily being assigned to a particular religious belief. For me, I'm not religious per se, but I do believe in a supreme being. Um, and that's just an important thing to keep in mind. Jim, Bob, please hit like and subscribe. I tend to believe aliens have made it to Earth. I mean, maybe. We're going to find out sooner or later, I suppose. At some point, humanity will find out. At least I hope so. Although I suppose we'll never have a definitive answer in the negative, because not seeing them ever doesn't mean they're not out there. It just means they never visited us. So we'll either know yes, or we'll simply never know, I suppose, will be the two options. Cereal is soup, absolutely. Cereal is soup without question. I don't know, Shark. I mean, usually these 1 a.m. streams I go for about an hour, but we shall see. The more super chats I go, maybe the longer I'll stay on. Um, or if you're asking how long would, yes, Nicholas, I look like Shrek. I've grown to accept it. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Um, Penguin Walrus. I do not have a March Madness bracket because I do not follow sports, but I do know many Masons who do follow sports, and I'm sure many of them do in fact have a bracket, do in fact have a do in fact and are rocking out a March Madness bracket. I should probably look on Google. I bet you I could find some. Um, you missed Dono from Jim Bob. Sorry about that, Jim Bob. If I missed a donation, I apologize. Um, do you have any? I have a bunch of tattoos. Oh my gosh. I've got all of these here, which you can kind of see, and then I've got a whole bunch here. They're all, or the vast majority of them are Masonic tattoos. I have a few non-Masonic tattoos as well, like this one is from Halloween. So I got a little bit of both. Hit the like and subscribe button and give me a super chat, and then maybe I will. Um, Lord Drip. Welcome, Lord Drip. I hope you've got a lot of drip. The topic of this channel is Freemasonry. I do 2 streams daily, 1 a.m. and 1 p.m., and we talk about Freemasonry. Normally on the 1 p.m. stream, I have specific topics, and 1 a.m. is just a general hangout and chat about whatever it is. So that is the channel. And Freemasons, you should know, have a lot of drip. I do not have a tramp stamp. No, maybe one day. That's what I'll get next. I don't feel drained by Freemasonry. I mean, I feel sometimes exhausted by it because it's a lot of work, but that's because I care about it. It's the same way I feel exhausted by exercise, yet at the same time rejuvenated and grateful for it. So it's a little bit of both. Do Freemasons learn about electricity? I mean, there are Freemasons who are electricians, but I mean, it's not part of Freemasonry per se. I mean, Freemasons evolved from stonemasons or craftsmen, and those craftsmen were, stonemasons. They didn't work with electricity, they worked with stones. But certainly it's in kind of the DNA of Freemasonry to be craftsmen or journeymen or tradesmen. I mean, I don't know about the combination between, thank you, between electricity and masonry. I wouldn't think there was one, unless to the extent that stone and minerals conduct electricity. Thank you, Mr. Keeps. Speculative Freemason. Well, that's what I am, right? I'm a speculative Freemason. However, that's not to say I don't have a great deal of respect for my operative brethren and my operative counterparts. Your coworkers are incorrect. It is not a cult. That is awesome, Jim Bob. You have way more skills than I do when it comes to the ability to work with stone and granite. And it's not a cult, nor is it evil. CBA, you're always on here, you always say that. I've talked about why it's not several times. You can believe me or disbelieve me, but, that's a whole separate can of tuna, what you choose to do. Swamp Rat says, Greyland, welcome, Swamp Rat. Please hit like and subscribe. Loud Cloud, it is not a cult. Um, no, and we shouldn't be trying to. I can tell you, I did a lot of work on my Masonic building. We had to comply with all bylaws, building codes, etc., etc., as we should be. It's very important that we as Freemasons care about and understand and recognize the building codes, fire codes, safety codes within our communities and comply with them, both at the municipal and federal level. Um, Chip, maybe I'll get a neck tattoo. Who knows? Um, I don't believe Nikola Tesla was a Freemason. I could be mistaken, but I don't believe he was. So Freemasonry is not a cult for three reasons. First, it does not, or actually four reasons. It does not, it does not try or require the isolation of membership from the outside world, family, friends, employment, religion. It actually instructs you and encourages you to put those things first and ahead of Freemasonry. It does not have unquestioning leadership, rather, it's democratic. So you're voting on your leadership. It does not venerate individuals or dogma. Um, and it does not, again, isolate either psychologically or physically. So there you go. For those reasons, it is not a cult. Um, I think I might have heard some geese out there. That's possible. I heard something. Um, what is bleach drip? This shirt? This shirt doesn't have any bleach on it. What are you talking about? What am I most proud of? That's a good question, tinfoil hat wearer. See, the question is rarely get a chance to talk about because I'm most proud of my accomplishments within Freemasonry. And, but I talk about that every day, basically, on some level. I suppose I'm most proud of my time in politics and what I was able to accomplish in politics. It's not something I talk about, part of it because this channel is about Freemasonry and you're not allowed to discuss politics or religion within Freemasonry. But I was involved in politics for many years. I actually was an intern in the office of the Prime Minister under Stephen Harper. I was heavily involved in conservative politics and grateful for all the things I accomplished, especially being in Ottawa for a couple summers. Um, So, Dustin, don't fart in people's faces and don't punch people in retaliation. So, let's do neither. How about that? John Doe, I cannot time travel. Freemasons also cannot time travel. Maybe one day. Who knows? But, John Doe, you can hit the like button and you can hit the subscribe button. Kyle Hardy, Christ is King. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. What makes me laugh the most? I mean, people is kind of the typical answer, right? I recently rewatched the movie Dodgeball. I usually don't enjoy comedy movies, but that movie makes me laugh a lot. Say Christ is King. I did say Christ is King. Somebody said that above. I'm not religious myself, but it was Kyle Hardy said it. Again, within Freemasonry, we have many men of many different faiths and backgrounds. Many of them are Christian. They would say the exact same thing you did, that Christ is King. For me, as I've said before, I am one who, again, I'm not religious, but I respect men of all different faiths and backgrounds, so long as you're good and honorable. Um, I don't know about church bells being destroyed, other than I hope that they're not destroyed. I love architecture. Being a Freemason, I have a great deal of respect for architecture. And I really care about the preservation of architecture and the preservation of built heritage. So I wish they weren't being destroyed. Thomas Pepion. I'm not sure to what you're referring to. That sounds like a biblical reference to me. I'll take it, Tohail. Most people say I look ugly. So if you think I look like Mark Wahlberg, I'm much obliged. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Christina Love, please hit like and subscribe. A Freemason is a member of a Masonic lodge or a Masonic club or body. Basically, it's a club member. Freemasonry is simply a very old club. It's one that's existed for over 300 years. It has rituals and traditions dating back that far, but at its core, it's a club or a group. So to be a Freemason is to be a member of a Masonic lodge, no different than being a gym member, for example. I don't want to leave the club. I like the club. Um, You may not want to join the club, Jewel Cool Cat, and that's perfectly fine. But it's a club I enjoy, so I think I'm going to stick around with it. Thank you very much. I've done push-ups, Yados Blackos. I've done a lot of push-ups. I keep doing them as well. Cold, I don't know why you're saying that. How about you hit the like and subscribe button? Benjamin Franklin was a Freemason. So was Paul Revere. So was John Hancock. So was George Washington. 13 of the 39 signers of the Declaration of Independence were Freemasons. I think that's the rough number, at least that we know of. It depends on the nature of the meeting. Sometimes we'll be having you can call it administrative meeting, and then we discuss the preservation of Freemasonry or the lodge in particular. So reading of minutes, correspondence, all of the administrative things that we do that are necessary for the maintenance and for the preservation of Freemasonry. Sometimes we'll be performing degrees or rituals, bringing in new candidates. Sometimes we'll have social nights, right? It's kind of like there's different reasons to get together. Sometimes it's at a stated meeting. Sometimes it's at not at a stated meeting, but rather it's a social club. It's a social function. We may go out, for drinks or for food or whatever it is. It really depends. But ultimately, I think the things we discuss together is not as important as the fact that we choose to get together, right? At the core of Freemasonry, you could argue, is the belief that it is worth spending time with other people, which is something I'm very grateful for. Thank you, Christina. I appreciate that very much. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. And once again, thank you for being here. If I had a husband, would it make a difference? Freemasonry, we don't discriminate. I've known many gay Freemasons, many straight Freemasons. Doesn't make a difference. Hiram Abiff is a cool story. The widow's son is a colloquial term. It refers to Hiram Abiff, who's a very important figure within Freemasonry. How and why he's so important, you kind of have to figure out by joining. But generally speaking, he is considered to be the chief architect within of the of King Solomon's Temple in biblical times. In the Bible, he's referenced as Hiram, not Hiram Abiff, interestingly enough. Tinfoil, I mean, the problem with discussing the charitable work of the Freemasons is there's so much of it, and it's so, there's the Masonic Charities Foundation out of Grand Lodge of England, which has given hundreds of millions of pounds over its lifetime. There's the Masonic Charities Foundation in Ontario. There's local charity. Like this year in Ontario, we're supporting Ronald McDonald House. So there's so many different charitable groups and organizations. It's really tough to talk about one in particular. What I will say, though, is charity is considered a very important part of what it is to be a Freemason, and that's both charity within the membership, so helping a brother out who may be struggling, as well as charity in the more broad sense of community support. I'm sure that some Masonic lodges have donated to build houses. I'm not aware of any off the top of my head. I know many Masonic lodges donated to relief efforts and rebuilding efforts after natural disasters, including forest fires and floods. Because I love talking about Freemasonry. Zed fan. I got a big forehead. I've grown to accept it. My coworker, well, your coworker is being dumb, saying it's satanic. Now, for better or worse, and unfortunately, we very often cannot, control that. We can only control, at least I can only control what I do to demonstrate to others that Freemasonry is a good thing. I do eat pork. I eat plenty of pork. The reason, Freemasonry does not have any restrictions on what you can or can't eat. It's not, it's not a religion, right? So there's no statements as to what you can or can't eat for religious or other grounds or other purposes. It does seem surprising, but yes, a coincidence. Coincidences happen, at least I would consider it a coincidence. The extent to which, communism and Freemasonry are separate things. Communism is a political institution or political ideology. Freemasonry is apolitical. It's not a political organization. In terms of the Reformation, I mean, again, that's religious, not civic, and it's not Masonic. Although certainly the fact that, the Reformation does matter in the sense that you still have this divide where the Catholic Church still does not approve of Freemasonry, at least officially. Though unofficially, I know many Catholic Freemasons. I've been a Freemason for 20 years. Um, Zed fan. I don't think I've ever met Hell's Angels, but I did work in a jail, and if I recall, there might have been bikers there. Had any interest in joining, oops, I went dark there for a second. Never had any interest in joining any criminal organization. Some people have been on the stream before and said they're not criminal. I guess agree to disagree, but we as Freemasons should always be compliant with and responsible and respectful of the laws of the country in which we live. Joining the Hells Angels would be the opposite of that. Um, that's awesome, Tinfoil. If you ever want to take some pictures of them and send them to me through Instagram, I'd appreciate it. I'd love to see those buildings and the pictures of those buildings. I think that would be incredible. Um, Warlight, please hit like, please hit subscribe. Um, I mean, one, Bud Morgan. I mean, what I will say is, again, talking about the Freemasonry, one thing we are instructed on, or as part of Masonic teachings, is we are expected to comply with the rules and the laws of the country in which we live. We're citizens first. And being citizens first means, for example, in Canada, I could take one wife. Anything beyond that would be illegal. Forget about the morality or amorality of the situation. It would just be illegal to do so. I mean, Freemasonry is not about one's personal life. It's about one's civic life, but the two definitely intertwine. Um, I mean, by all means, Mr. Keeps, you're welcome to tell me about it. Don't do anything you're not comfortable telling, though, obviously. And even though you're not sworn to secrecy, what I would say is if there's still, you consider there to be value in the secrecy, then there you go. Um, Yados, you got to get used to it. There's a lot of messed up people talking on these channels. What will I say on Judgment Day? I honestly have no idea, Michael Riggs. I think what I would say, to be honest, is nothing at all. I would be silent. One of my favorite quotes ever is silence is the true language of God. All else is a poor imitation. And so, I don't think I would say anything on Judgment Day, assuming I came in front of the great architect, the supreme being, take your pick. I guess we'll find out what it is at that point. Again, I would say nothing because in my mind, that is the true language of God. All else is a poor imitation. Talking about Freemasonry, Drunk Lily, please hit like and subscribe. You have two ears and one mouth, so you should listen twice as much as you speak, is pretty good advice. Um, I mean, I've been part of many Masonic rituals, both as a spectator and a participant, and as the person receiving the ritual. I always say, never seen anything illegal, immoral, or against one's civic, religious, familial, or other responsibilities. Freemasonry is a civic or a community group that has existed for approximately 300 years, actually over 300 years. It evolved from stone Masonic guilds. Um, You'd have to ask each individual Mason. Lucifer is a religious figure, so no Mason will have the exact same views on him. I suppose if they're Christian, they will view him as, I guess, Satan, right? Another word for Satan. But Freemasonry has no religious dogmas in this sense. I think Beer Blades, you might be thinking about Albert Pike, who is one man who does not reflect what Freemasons think. He reflects what he thinks. Um, what degree am I? It depends on, well, so I'm a third degree Master Mason. I'm 18th degree Scottish Rite. I'm also the Worshipful Master of Border Cities Lodge number 554. So there you go. Um, that is what I am. A lot of people get confused and they think that 33rd is the highest degree within Freemasonry. It's not. That's a misunderstanding of what Freemasonry is. And the third degree is the highest degree within Freemasonry. Um, well, I mean, I'm not sure how to define the original reason. I mean, what's the original reason for any group to exist? A desire for belonging and desire to be part of something bigger than yourself. That's true for football. The original reason that football exists is not because people want to play football. People wanted to get together and hang out with one another. The rules for football were developed to give people a reason to do so, and because people enjoy physical activity and competition. Within Freemasonry, I can't speak to the original reason, except people like to associate with one another. The original cause of its existence was men asking to join trade union guilds, not for the work aspect, but for the socialization aspect of it, wanted to be part of something, be part of a social group. Freemasonry developed from that. Um, I did not pledge to Lucifer. Freemasons do not pledge to Lucifer. That's not what Freemasonry is about. We, to the extent that we pledge to anything, it's to, a supreme being as we understand it. I have a perfectly wonderful average forehead, Ram Razul. Please hit like and subscribe. I am at 3,700 subscribers. I'm grateful for that. Thank you. An OG Freemason. So an OG operative Mason will be one who can work with stone, zero doubt. An OG speculative Mason is one who joined for the social aspect of it. Hello, Bama Yard Dog. Well, it's a really important distinction, actually, and it's a really important difference as well. People need to understand it because if you don't understand that, you think that the 33rds have some type of power or influence over Craft Lodge, which they don't, or you think that they have some type of influence over the rules and regulations that govern Freemasonry, which they don't, right? And so if people don't understand that, they start to have this idea that the 33rd degree is some type of legislative body or controlling, or they don't even understand the hierarchy of Freemasonry or what it means. And that's a gross misunderstanding of it, right? And it's really dangerous when people start thinking that because then they start to judge Freemasonry completely inaccurately based on this idea that there's a cabal of 33rds running things where there's not. There's a board of general purposes and there's a grand master and they're running things. They are the highest rank. It's not higher than that. There is no single big boss in Freemasonry. It's decentralized. There are grand masters. Each grand master is responsible and has a particular jurisdiction. They answer to nobody, but they also, except for the membership, because it's democratic, but they also are not higher or lower than any other grand master. So, for example, the grand master in Ontario sets rules for Freemasonry within Ontario. He does not set rules for Freemasonry in Manitoba. That's a different grand master. But there's no single governing body or single big boss or single big boss organization that controls Freemasonry globally. Well, that's concerning 4141 because I was born by cesarean section, so I guess I can't make it into heaven. Honestly, that seems like a very cruel thing to say, 4141. I'm not sure why you would say that, except to be cruel on purpose. I would suggest you look in the mirror. You don't get paid to be a Freemason, but the reason I have this channel is to try to turn my passion for Freemasonry into a profession. Thank you, Yados Blackos, by getting super chats and getting gifts, Patreon support, etc., etc. I mean, the first stonemason. I mean, like the first stonemason, some would call him Nimrod from the Bible. I would say it's the very first human ancestor 3 million years ago to pick up a stone and bash it against some rocks and create a stone tool. Humanity is a story of stone. The first speculative Freemason dates to, if I recall correctly, 1634. That's awesome, Yados. Congratulations on having a son. You should be very, very proud of yourself. There are many Freemason museums. There's no single Masonic museum, but there's a Masonic museum in Colombia, which is incredible. There's a Masonic museum in England, United Grand Lodge of England. Here in Windsor, we have a museum. It's absolutely incredible, and I'm grateful for our Masonic museums. They are an incredibly valuable part of Freemasonry and a valuable part of the craft. There's one in the Texas Masonic Retirement Community. There's an incredible museum there as well. If you type in museum on my channel, you should see some pictures of some really awesome and beautiful Masonic museums. Um, what do you know about our origins? I mean, I'm not sure what you mean by that. I don't think that Freemasonry has an ancient system. I mean, the system of speculative Freemasonry dates to, again, 1634 to 1717. We know what was in their minds because we have a lot of their writings. We know a fair bit about the Sayers, the Andersons. We have the Anderson Constitutions. We have the Regius poem. We have the old charges to know what was in their mind. I don't think I'm cursed. Um, I've never been to Grove. Freemasonry has nothing to do with Bohemian Grove. Mr. Keeps, I think you asked somewhere above if I have any fear of hell. Again, that's a religious question. Freemasonry is not religious. Um, so keep that in mind. Every Mason will have a different answer. But no, I don't personally fear hell. It's not something within, I guess, my religious beliefs or understandings or spiritual beliefs, I'm worried about. If I'm wrong, then I guess I'll be wrong. Um, Thank you, Kenneth. And again, I know many Freemasons who are very involved in their religious beliefs, who are Christians, for example, and it's not that they. I mean, in my experience, and this is me speaking personally for myself, it's not that Christians do good things to avoid going to hell. Right? They're not doing good things to get some reward. They do good things because they're good people. And the relationship they have with their supreme being, with Jesus, encourages them to be good in this world. So it's not as though they're doing good things simply to get a reward or avoid punishment. I want to respect that. They do good things because they're good people. But I'm sure some of them worry about me and where my eternal soul is going to end up, which is a different question altogether. Um, Why did I stop after the 18th? Because I was so busy with the craft lodge and the first 3 degrees. I was a worshipful master, I was secretary. I just did not have any time to focus on going up in the degrees because that's a whole other set of meetings to go to. And if I'm going to join something, in this case, the consistory, it's called the Knights Kadosh, I think, in the northern jurisdiction. I want to know that I can be active in it and engaged in it. Who would win in a battle? Well, the Templars were actual military order. They were knights. So I'm sure in a physical battle they would win. Freemasons evolved from tradesmen. Templars evolved from knights and military. So it's a very different thing, right? Although if you're talking about the Templars as in the Masonic order, to be a Templar in 2026, part of the Knights Templars and the York Rite, you must first be a Freemason. Um, You should, I mean, maybe you're right. I guess we'll find out. Again, I'm not one who necessarily believes in that from my religious understanding. Let's not have anybody tell anything about one's colon. Let's keep that for one's doctors. How's about that? Um, Christian Devos, welcome. Please hit like and subscribe. Well, I'm glad you went to your doctor. Make sure you keep going to your doctor. It does. I heal quickly. What can I say? Line, you're being weird. I think you need to hit the like and subscribe button and stop being so strange. No worries. I mean, that's why I'm here, right? So long as the questions are respectful and honest, I'm happy to answer them. If the questions get silly, that's when I may find myself, blocking people, if that makes sense. Um, Kenneth Davenport. Well, thank you, Andre. I appreciate that. So here's what I always say. I mean, who's worthy? Like, is anybody worthy of anything to be a candidate? You, what you should do is, let's say, I don't know if this is what you mean, but let's say you have a criminal record or you got into trouble in the past, or whatever it might be, um, don't prejudge yourself as being worthy or not worthy. I'm not a big fan of that term for Freemasonry. I don't like the idea of worthiness. If you're of the correct age and you're over 40, you're 41, which means you're well over the age you need to be, and you believe in a supreme being of some sort, then you approach a Masonic lodge and express your interest in joining, and you let them decide. Be honest with them. Tell them about the trouble you got into in the past, and also the steps you've taken and try to make amends for that trouble, whether it be, serving a jail sentence or whatever it might be. But don't prejudge. Let them decide. Just be honest with them and approach them. You are, without a doubt, worthy enough to go and approach them and express your interest in joining, and let them decide. Depending on the nature of the trouble and how severe it was, they may not be comfortable having you join, or they may. But just be honest with them and upfront. I always tell people, don't start by thinking about like whether they're going to accept you or not, or anything to that extent. Just start by thinking about going up to them and having a conversation and expressing your interest in joining. Be honest, don't lie. Even if they don't ask for a criminal record, be honest if you have a criminal record, and let them decide from there. Well, Jeremy, that's an old joke. I've heard that one a few times. Well, beer, that's what they say. I mean, that's a kind of an oversimplification, but the whole point of that is they don't want, if you want to join Freemasonry, you have to join of your own free will and accord, and that means you have to approach the lodge and ask, right? They're not going to invite you to be a Mason. That's not how it works. So if anybody's showing up and inviting you to be a Freemason, it might be a scam. They can invite you to an open house or a public event, but that's not the same thing as inviting, you have to ask one if you're interested. And that's the first step. It's not the last step, it's the first step. You're welcome, Kenneth. I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you'll consider sharing this stream. Heck, even do a super chat, or even do one of those gifts. Give me a lucky shamrock in honor of St. Patrick's Day. I did not upstate. I did not lose any friends when I joined. But honestly, if joining would have made me lose friends, I don't think I would have wanted them to be my friends. I would not have been cool with that. So, yeah, Kenneth is clearly not serious, but there you go. There are some people, definitely some people who had questions about being a Freemason, and maybe they looked up a bunch of nonsense online. But the thing is, because they're my friend, they knew me. They knew the type of person I was, and they could reliably understand that if I'm joining it, it must be a good group. That's the biggest thing when you're dealing with friends, family, whatever it is. If you can demonstrate to the world at large that you're a good person, you demonstrate the same thing to to your friends, that Freemasonry is a good thing. They're going to judge Freemasonry based on their understanding of who you are, more so than anything else. Thank you for the lucky clover. Kenneth is clearly real. He's right there. He said he's real. LF, I think you are not being serious at this point, so let's just put you in a bit of a timeout for a second. I think I got Kenneth mixed up with somebody else. No, Kenneth, you're very serious. Sorry about that. I think I got you mixed up with somebody else in the stream. Thank you for being here. Craig Hart, have I made 33rd? You don't really make 33 degrees. You don't even make 3 degrees. You advance through them. I'm not. I chose not to join consistory, which I would need to first. My focus is really on my craft lodge and my blue lodge. Christian, what is the intent of a Freemason? Every Freemason has his own intent and has his own purpose for joining. There is no singular intent to being a Freemason. Some may join with the intention of being closer to their family, if they have Masonic family members. Some may join with the intention of developing more social skills and abilities, or more friends. Some may join with the intention of learning more about the history of the craft. I joined with the intention of trying to make the world a better place through the application of brotherly love, relief, and truth, which is something I'm grateful that I'm able to do. Jesus is God. Thank you for that. That's very kind. Um, Please hit like and subscribe. Freemasonry is not the occult. Mark, unless by occult you mean simply something that is somewhat hidden, which case Freemasonry is not hidden, but there are private elements to our rituals and ceremonies. Um, so my Instagram, and please everybody follow me on Instagram, I would be grateful for that, is at square underscore and underscore compass underscore, maybe I could do this, promotions. So please follow my Instagram there. I'd be grateful. My bad. I meant of Freemasonry as a system. What is the goal of the organization? Again, there is no singular goal other than at its most basic level, it's about the goal or the desire or the belief that it is worth spending time with other people. And that's something I think that we have kind of forgotten about, especially when we all have smartphones and cell phones. It's worth spending time with other people, regardless, even to some extent, of what you're doing. It's worth spending time with other people. People of different religions, different beliefs, different backgrounds, different politics, different races, ages, ethnicities. There's that core tenet and core belief it is worth spending time with other people. And that's something I'm grateful that Freemasonry promotes and Freemasonry shares and Freemasonry encourages, truly. Um, and so I think beyond that, every Mason will have his own goals as it relates to it. For me, the goal of Freemasonry is ultimately about the belief or the goal that the world can be made better through the application of brotherly love, relief, and truth, or at least the individuals. In some ways, Freemasonry was woke. Now, woke is a political term. Many would disagree with it and consider Freemasonry to be more conservative. I suppose it depends how you want to define it. But at various points in history, Freemasonry has been considered more left wing or more right wing. It's one of the more interesting things about Freemasonry. Um, that is not true. That shouldn't even be true for the brethren in Missouri. They should absolutely be able to let Black people or gay people join. I'm not sure what your family's talking about. As for felons, I mean, it depends on the nature of the crime, I think. I can't speak specifically for, because I know that some require criminal record checks. I always say, though, look, don't be afraid to just apply, even if you have a criminal record. Nice. I got the hat. Look at it go. That is fun. Um, just take the time to apply. If they decide your felony is too significant, any Masons out there are denying membership based on race or sexual orientation. They're doing it wrong. They should be ashamed. I got the lucky hat though. That is awesome. Thank you so much. Botanicus still bald. I saw the hat on me. That's what matters. Well, Prince Hall is a wonderful organization. I'm grateful that Prince Hall exists, without question. And Prince Hall was originally for Black men. It is in this case. Oh, I got another hat. That's awesome. Once again, a party hat. Although you need to keep in mind that within Freemasonry, all right, we're going to get rid of this guy. No being a reviler of people's religion. Um, there are white Prince Hall Masons now. There are Black AF and AM Masons. Are there annual dues in the Freemasons? There are. Husafel. I think Prince Hall is the best prince. Prince Hall was a really awesome dude. Um, so when it comes to the annual dues, most lodges will have annual dues. I suppose some, if they're really rich, may be able to get away with not having them. But by and large, almost every lodge has annual dues. Some of them can be as little as $25 per year, some as much as $250 per year. Um, you have to send it to me by a message, right? That's the key. Send it to me through Messenger. Thank you for the clovers, lucky clovers in honor of St. Patrick's Day. I guess it's still technically St. Patrick's Day. We'll call it. So long as I'm streaming, it's still St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, but it still stayed for a couple minutes, and that was awesome. So thank you so much for that. I'm loving all these gifts. I'm grateful for all these gifts. Thank you so much. I hope once again you guys will take a moment to please hit like, please hit subscribe. Um, Thank you for all these lucky clovers. Zanfrius, I'm honored. Um, and thank you for everybody who's been hanging out and joining. I'm gonna have to save up a lot of money, 25 million for the one in St. Louis, but we are getting there slowly but surely. Keep helping a brother out. I would be much obliged. Thank you all for being here. Please take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and thank you for joining. Um, And I hope everybody is doing very well. I mean, I think preservation of our Masonic built heritage is incredibly important. I think it's a shame when these buildings are being sold. It is my hope, though, without question, that whoever purchases the building will be able to, use it, maintain and preserve it. Maintain and preserve it somehow. It won't be used for Masonic functions necessarily, but they can still showcase its history and showcase its Masonic connections. I am a Mason for about 20 years. Please hit like and subscribe. Jim, you do not have to join the Shriners. You may join the Shriners if you'd like. Many Masons have joined the Shriners. It's a very valuable part of what it is to be, of our Masonic family, but you certainly do not have to join the Shriners. You can remain as a third degree Mason and you are at the highest level. More like a low level Jesuit. So plain guy, I am not Jew. Well, I never answered that question because I feel like people ask it for the wrong reasons. Whether I'm Jewish or not is irrelevant to being a Freemason. We have men of all different faiths, ethnicities, backgrounds, Jewish and not Jewish. Right? Being a Freemason is not about one's religion or ethnicity for that matter. Can I explain the ranks? Sorry. Can you explain the levels and ranking order? So the best way to think about oh, I got the awesome maple leaf. So the best way to think about it is, we have a lot of people asking, it doesn't matter if I am or I'm not Jewish. It's irrelevant to being a Freemason. It's better to think about it in terms of degrees and offices. Within craft Freemasonry, there are 3 degrees: entered apprentice, fellow craft, and master mason. Those are the most important. The 3rd degree is the highest degree within Freemasonry. It's kind of like getting your 3rd degree is like graduating high school. I got some chips as well. Within the Blue Lodge, there are many different offices. Each have different roles and responsibilities, but the highest or the most important office is the worshipful master of the lodge. Then you can join appendant bodies, and they have their own degree systems and their own chapters. You can also become a Grand Lodge officer. But it's a progressive science, is the way to think about Freemasonry, or a progressive art, progressive group. You are continually progressing through different degrees and different offices, if you so choose. In that way, it's kind of gamified somewhat, right? If you know about gamification at all. St. Louis, if you type in St. Louis Scottish Rite Cathedral, I think it should pop up. How do you join? Peter asks. To be one, ask one. What you need to do is find the Masonic Lodge within your area, make sure it's legitimate, and get in touch with them. Express your interest in joining. After that, there's a process you go through. It takes a bit of time. You need to get to know the lodge, and the lodge needs to get to know you. Mr. Keep says, gee, Jez. I don't know what that means, but it's a very kind gift. Thank you so much. So Freemasonry is definitely not entirely esoteric. And who is at the top? So SMH, there is no one at the top over all lodges. Freemasonry is decentralized. There is not a single governing body that governs Freemasonry around the world. In Ontario, the Grand Master in the Grand Lodge of Canada in Ontario is responsible for the application and regulation of Freemasonry in Ontario. It's democratic, so he's answerable to the membership who votes him in. And there's a board of general purposes as well. He is responsible for Freemasonry in Ontario, but his authority does not extend outside of Ontario. And there is nobody above him, right? So within Ontario, he's responsible for it, and that's kind of where the authority ends. It is absolutely, though, decentralized. And I'm grateful for that, Mr. Keeps. Bob, I am the Grand Master of the Nerds. I consider nerd to be a proud thing. Please hit like and subscribe. Um, so all lodges are different. That's the nature of it. Members will all have their own religious beliefs and political beliefs, and those are not to be discussed within a lodge. That is absolutely the case. I would say there are general ethical understandings that all Freemasons share. Amongst other things, the belief in a supreme being of some sort, the belief in universality of, tolerance and respect, and probably the belief that it's worth spending time with other people, at least on some level. Otherwise, it's very unlikely you're going to remain a member because, I mean, I don't know why you'd be paying money to something if you never show up to it. It happens, but, you probably believe on some level you'll be back and show up to it once again. Four-leaf clover, once again. I'm at 822 jewels, it looks like, or rubies. Let's keep it going. Maybe I'll get over 1,000. It'd be incredible if I did. Um, so Freemasonry is speculative for sure. There is a lot of esoteric symbolism within Freemasonry. However, a lot of Freemasonry is not esoteric at all. Our buildings are open to the public. We do tours. I'm here talking about it. Thank you, Constitution, for the thumbs up. Um, Tinfoil hat, sorry for what? Thank you for being here. I'm grateful for everybody who's joined this channel. We got a four-leaf clover once again. Thank you for that also. It is huge. Yes, being a Freemason is not the same thing as being Jewish. They're different things. There are many Jewish people who are welcome to be who are Freemasons, and that's awesome. But Freemasonry is not a Jewish organization. It's not a ethnic or secular or sorry, it's not an ethnic or religious organization. Um, a lot of my family are Masons. I love Freemasonry in Nova Scotia. I've been lucky enough to visit Masons in Nova Scotia twice. I mostly went there because um, um, I really loved very much their Grand Lodge, but also I love spending time in the bars eating oysters because I love raw oysters. Might be my favorite type of meal in the world is raw oysters. And Nova Scotia Freemasons are very cool people. Eastern Star, yep, they still have the Eastern Star. It's a women's group, and it's an awesome group. It's one of the many times I bring up when people say Freemasonry is male exclusive. My answer is always no, it's not. Order of Women Freemasons, Eastern Star, and Rainbow. All perfect examples of that being not the case. I mean, again, there was no purpose in creating it. That's not how it worked. It evolved naturally, right? It's not as though somebody sat down and said, we will create Freemasonry. Rather, it evolved out of a desire of men to spend time with one another in a social aspect by joining stone masonry guilds. Um, it's a bit like a simple plan. One thing happened, then the next thing happened, then the next thing happened. Oh, raw oysters are incredible. But ultimately, you had a bunch of trade unions in the Middle Ages. They were known as stonemasons. They built things out of stone. And they had the professional aspect to them. But men asked to join these guilds or unions, not because they were interested in the speculative, not because they're interested in the operative aspect or the building aspect. Rather, they wanted to join for the social aspect of it, and things just grew from there. Um, well, thank you, tinfoil hat wearer. Um, it's great to have you here. If you want to support the channel, again, hit like, share, comment on videos. All that stuff helps out big time. My St. Patrick's Day was a lot of fun. It was a blast. I hope you had a great St. Patrick's Day also. Thank you for being here. So the shrine is a separate, it's a Masonic group, but it's separate from Freemason. Like your every Shriner is a Freemason, right? But it's not a lodge thing. You join the shrine from the lodge. But I know many Shriners who are members of my lodge and other lodges. They do a lot of great work in the community. Um, they are cool, the overlays, but yeah, don't for heaven's sakes, don't spend more than you can afford, Mr. Keeps. I'm grateful for everybody being here. Just being here and chatting and hitting the like button and commenting on videos, believe me, that helps out big time. But I'm grateful also for every super chat and every overlay and every gift as well. I love scary movies, Eric, Bobby, you and me both. I watched some Leprechaun today on my personal YouTube channel. I watched Leprechaun in Space and Leprechaun Returns, both great films. And this morning or this afternoon at 1 p.m., I talked about the ways that Freemasonry is related to St. Patrick's Day. No, hey Chisel, Freemasonry does not worship all. Freemasonry is not a religious organization. It's not about worship. We're going to hope that as well, Zero Factor. We are going to hope for that as well. Um, if you want Zero Factor, consider purchasing a gift. Consider purchasing a Lucky Clover. Um, oh, I'll put Tabasco sauce on raw oysters for sure. Thank you for the Lucky Clover. I will put so without a doubt, I will put Tabasco. I also like to put lemon on them. Sometimes they're great just plain. I don't know. They taste like the sea, for lack of a better term. So Lucas Experientia, there are two possible explanations as to um, where the term free in Freemasonry came from. It either came from a type of stone called freestone. It was basically a type of limestone that was so loose. It was basically you could pull it directly from the quarry without like chiseling it out. So it was called freestone. And only or exclusively skilled masons could work with it. So they became known as Freemasons because of the free stone with which they worked. Or it refers to freedom of movement, in that as a tradesman or a journeyman, you were free once you became a master mason, or at least a fellow craft mason. You were then free to move from town to town and city to city and country to country to ply your trade and earn your income. And because we within Freemasonry dedicate so much of ourselves to this idea of travel and being a traveler, the freedom of movement developed therein. Once again, we got a Lucky Clover. Thank you for that. The other channel is youtube.com/at Cameron Adamson. I'll put it in the stream. You can find it that way. It's at Cameron Adamson. Please follow me there. You know, people keep telling me there is. I do not, other than the fact that we within Freemasonry are meant to or encouraged to study the liberal arts and sciences, and particularly astronomy. Saturn has never come up in any of my Masonic rituals or Masonic ceremonies. So I have no clue like where this idea comes from. People keep telling me it. I've never seen it in any Masonic rituals that I've witnessed or been a part of. So once again, it's at Cameron Adamson. I would be grateful. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you again for the Lucky Clover. Thank you for helping me get over 3,700 subscribers. Still aiming to get over 4,000, if not the end of March, maybe the end of April. End of May. No, March. End of April, excuse me. Well, but again, free smiths or free gardeners meant that they were free to travel, right? Free to apply their wares. To my knowledge, it never meant free from the authority of barons or clergy, because one of the things we are taught, and this is true for stonemasons as well, going all the way back to the Regius manuscript or the Regius poem, is that you are expected to be compliant with and follow the rules of whatever country it is you happened to be visiting or traveling, including the barons or the government or even if the clergy was the government, right? So that is not my experience. Freemasonry welcomes men of all different ethnicities and backgrounds. We are 86 away from getting enough, over 1,000 jewels. So if you want to help a brother out, purchase some of those gifts, some of those really cool gifts, whatever it is. Mr. Keeps has already done his part, and I'm grateful for that. Let's see if anybody else wants to jump on and help a brother out. We're going to give it a bit more time. Usually I do these streams for about an hour. I will be back on tomorrow at 1 p.m. or today at 1 p.m. Well, but again, Lucifer and the Morning Star are not part of Masonic ritual, despite what some claim from reading way too much Albert Pike. But it's never been something I've seen or witnessed. But I will say, and I do really appreciate, Warlight, what you bring up there. People have always said, why is it that Freemasons were Masons were the one group to evolve a social club out of their operative roots? And as you point out, they weren't. The Free Gardeners, the Free Smiths, the Fraternal Order of Police are just some other professions that developed social groups and social clubs. Yes, Canada has a Taco Bell, absolutely, and they are wonderful. Taco Bell is the bomb. I love Taco Bell. Taco Bell will always be there for you when you need it. So it's great. Well, he wasn't a heretic. He simply spoke for himself and he spoke of his own views. In fact, at the start of Morals and Dogma, he actually says, I'm going to actually get the exact quote for it. Because it's a really great quote. Here it is. So, in its preface to his 1871 book, Morals and Dogma, Albert Pike explicitly states that the teachings in the book are not binding dogmas and the readers are free to disregard or dissent from them. As he states, everyone is entirely free to reject and dissent from whatever herein may seem to him to be untrue or unsound. So whenever anybody says, oh, like Freemasons venerate Morals and Dogma or venerate Albert Pike, that is simply not the case. He was giving his opinions on Freemasonry, no different than me giving my opinions on Freemasonry. Yeah, Zan, but again, the benefits are each individual will find them for himself. So for me, one of the major benefits is it makes me feel closer to my grandfather who passed away before I was born. So being a Freemason as he was makes me feel connected to him. For many Masons, it's a social safety net. They know that if they are ever in trouble financially, they can approach the lodge and request benevolence and get help and assistance to cover rent or whatever else they need. Not every lodge can afford to do that, but many will. Some join to develop skills like memorization, meeting management. Those are all valuable skills. Some get more confidence by having to speak in public. Some join because they get the benefit of, they don't even, not so much the community, but they feel connected to tradition and history. There are many different possible values and benefits. Every Freemason will find them for himself. Thank you, Chronic. That's an incredibly kind thing to say. Have I looked in the Book of Jubilee? I've not. I'm not sure what that is. Thank you, Eric Bobby. Before you go, I am 86 jewels away from getting over 1,000 rubies. If you guys want to be cool, give some gifts in the chat. I appreciate that, SMH, but keep in mind, Freemasonry is not a belief in the sense of religious belief. So 2 nice unicorns. You should definitely talk to a doctor if your skin is turning pink, and also maybe eat things other than shrimp. But talk to a doctor. Also, hit the like and subscribe button. I don't think that can help you with your shrimp issue, but it would still be much obliged, and I'd be much appreciative. You are welcome for the information, and thank you for being here. We're going to be hanging out for a bit longer, but I will be ending this stream shortly because it is late and I am tired. Thank you for the thumbs up. We're now at 81 to go. The shrimp lets me see in the dark, so I have to eat it. Well, I mean, I would talk to a doctor also about your ability to see in the dark because that would imply you're a nocturnal animal of some sort. But nonetheless, thank you for being here. And thank you for the heart as well, the floating heart, no less. We are. Let's see. We're getting very close. 9:41. We are 59 away. I invited you to, I mean, I would love to visit Pakistan. I would be honored to visit Pakistan. We got some chips. That is very cool as well. We're 40 rubies away. We're almost at 1,000. Um, so, Lucas, I mean, it depends on the lodge itself, right? I've found in my experience almost every Masonic lodge, if nothing else, has like a few bookshelves where they have books about Freemasonry set aside. Some have very much more advanced libraries and bigger ones like Missouri, St. Louis, um, United Grand Lodge of England has an incredible library. It depends on the size of the lodge, the size of the building, and what they can afford to have. But I always recommend every Masonic lodge, if nothing else, should at least have we'll usually have some bookshelves set aside with at least a few books that you can maybe read while you're waiting for lodge to start, something like that. Um, Prince Charles is not a Freemason, Danielle, but your friend may be. Prince Charles is not. Um, if they before they come to me, I hope they'll hit the like and subscribe button. I cannot make you some food. I mean, if you're at the lodge, we have a kitchenette upstairs, and the junior warden will provide some food. But right here, no. But if you would be so kind as to provide some gifts, I'm at 40 rubies away from 1,000, which would be really cool. Um, well, good for them. I hope they'll hit the like and subscribe button while they're watching my search history. Um, we got a party hat. Let's see how close. Oh, we're 10 away. Oh, we're well over now. Thank you so much. That is awesome. And I'm grateful for that. Um, yes, I got a huge forehead, Charles. Please hit like and subscribe. We did it over one. Maybe, who knows, when I do my 24-hour live stream, I'll get over two. Yes, you're correct. Prince Charles's dad was a Freemason. Prince Philip was. Prince Charles is not, at least not to my knowledge. I've never seen any evidence or indications that he is. Um, and thank you for the lucky clovers. Um, we are at This has been a wonderful stream, and I'm grateful for everybody who's been joining us. I don't know why these 1 a.m. streams do so much better than these 1 p.m. streams, but people are like me, night owls. Tarot Reader Avery, hit the like and subscribe button. I once went to a tarot card reader, and I was told I needed to watch out for women who want to take advantage of me. So I've never met them yet, but once I do, I will be in the know. Thank you for the thumbs up as well. That is incredibly kind. We're going to be ending this stream soon. I usually do these 1 a.m. streams for about an hour. Be back on at 1 p.m. Zed, it's been a little while. How's it going? Thanks for joining. Zed, since you were here last, I've turned on the gift option. So if you want to send me some gifts through YouTube, I'd be much obliged. If not, no worries. I still appreciate you being here. The fact that I haven't seen you, by the way, lately, maybe make sure you have your notification bell turned on. So whenever I come on stream, you see the notification. You're welcome, Lucas, and I appreciate you being here. It's been a fun stream. I'm not sure what you mean by accountable, SMH. Like, certainly Masons will hold each other accountable. I think you maybe mean by recognition. Like if a lodge is doing something wrong or improper, then it wouldn't be another lodge it would hold to account. It would be the governing body within the jurisdiction, right? So what that would mean is the Grand Lodge within the area would hold the lodge accountable and say you're doing something wrong, whatever it might be, which is perfectly fine to do, and they should do that. That's their responsibility. Um, then there's something called recognition. So if a Masonic jurisdiction is doing something inappropriate or wrong or illegal, you may lose your recognition, otherwise known as you may not be allowed to visit them anymore. They would be considered improper to visit because they were doing something wrong. Um, I think it was Mississippi, actually. And yes, I did see that. I was very disappointed in them. Now, it's not my place, I suppose, to be disappointed because it's not my jurisdiction. But I think it's a very unfortunate that they did that. I speak exclusively for myself. I wish the recognition had gone through. I'm disappointed it didn't. But maybe it will at some point in future. It's always possible. Maybe next year or the year after. Um, so yes, I was disappointed. But who knows what will happen in future? Um, so we shall see. And Citizen Z, I hope that you will, like I said, turn on that notification bell. So whenever I am streaming, you will find it. You'll find me. Um, I will probably do it pretty soon because you're just saying a bunch of nonsense. All right, please take a moment. Like I said, turn on notification bell, hit like, hit subscribe. We'll be ending this stream soon, but I am grateful for everybody who's been. You just got to get used to crazy people. Also, I can't run. I have no legs. Did you have a good St. Patrick's Day, Citizen Z? And it's great to have you back here once again. Been way too long, so thank you for being here once again. Maybe I do, James, but you can still hit the like and subscribe button. Nothing's wrong with just watching Star Trek. Star Trek is awesome. Which one? Original series, Next Generation? What did you check out? And we're gonna end this stream shortly, probably, but I am grateful for everybody who's been part of it. Great stream as always. I'll be back on tomorrow at 1 p.m. or today at 1 p.m. I'll take it because most people say I look ugly. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Bingo Healer. What do you think about the new series? I haven't watched it yet, so I've seen clips. Looks okay. I don't think anything will be able to beat for me Next Generation, but which is always my favorite Trek series. Oh my gosh, Lucas, that's a tough question because I've had so many. I mean, the experience I'm most proud of would be organizing a celebration at the Masonic Temple for Windsor in 2024, which had over I think 300 people attend, which was incredible. The open houses were incredible. Traveling around the world, visiting lodges in the Philippines, visiting lodges in Rio de Janeiro. Um, it's really tough to say. Like, oh my gosh. I would say here's what I'd say most recently. I was traveling from the Philippines to Brazil. There's a stopover in Dubai, and I was in the airport. I was in the hotel, and I looked up, and the roof had an arrow pointing towards Mecca. And when I saw that, I realized like I'm somewhere new. That's really cool. But there's been so many incredible experiences, so it's really hard to say. I've been very lucky. Thank you for liking and subbing. I'm grateful for that as well. So thank you so much for that. Luke, I don't know if you've hit the like and subscribe button yet, but please do so if you've not. We're at over 3,700 subs. I'm on my way to 4,000. I'm hoping to get there by the end of April. If not, maybe if we can work quick, I can get there by the end of March. Who knows? We shall see. I totally look like Crow. AJ Catron, why can't you be cool? So it's not midnight for you. It's what, middle of the day for you? I would love to visit Australia. There's some really cool Masonic lodges in Australia. At least I understand there are. Like in Brisbane, I think there's a really beautiful one. So believe me, it's on my list of places I want to visit. One day, maybe I'll get lucky. But for the time being, please hit like and please hit subscribe. And consider giving some gifts. We just turned that on. So thank you guys so much for being here. Tim Conway. I try to do this for work. I saved up a lot of my money because I live on my own. I don't have a family. So I basically spent a lot of years saving up my money. And then I have this. I have my Patreon as well. By the way, Jeremy, if you want to support me another way, you can join my Patreon. You can join it for free. Thank you, Bingo Healer. I do look very handsome. Tim Conway's handsome fella as well, I'm sure. You can support me on Patreon by going to, let me put it in the chat here, patreon.com/square and compass. So if you go, Jeremy, patreon.com/square and compass, you'll find it and you will, it's basically a way that you can send me money every month. $3 a month, up and down. And you support me that way. What did I say my name was? Cameron. Cameron Adamson. Nobody's being rude. Both of you guys calm down a little bit. So go to patreon.com/square and compass and you will be able to support me that way. Even if you join for free, it still is a huge support and I'd be grateful for the support. And if you do if you are subscribed, make sure to turn on the notification bell so you know whenever I'm streaming, you'll find me. All right, guys, both of you guys calm down. I don't take it too offensive. And if bingo, I wouldn't take it too offensive either. It's just people talking on the internet. But we're going to be ending this stream shortly. Let's thank you to everybody who's been helpful or been part of Freemason or been part of this channel thus far and been hanging out on this stream. You as well, SML, and thank you for being here. And thank you for being so supportive of the channel. I'm grateful. Yeah, Jeremy, so if again, you go to patreon.com/square and compass, you'll find it, you'll learn about it, and you can sign up for free. And it helps big time. Just signing up for the channel, even if you don't sign up at a paid level, helps out big time. But if you do sign up at a paid level, there are a lot of perks. So you can do that as well. Correspondence, things of that nature. It's cool to check out, so I hope you will. I mean, AJ. Well, I don't know what that means. I mean, I can block you. Do you want me to block you? I don't know what you mean by that, but okay. All right, both of you guys, let it go. Stop fighting in the chat, or both of you guys are going to find yourselves in a timeout. You both need to calm down. No, it's not, and let's make that very clear. Joining this channel as a member, as a YouTube member, as whatever it might be, is not becoming a Freemason. It's supporting me in my efforts to turn my passion for Freemasonry into a profession, which I'm grateful for. But joining Freemasonry is a separate thing. Good. I just want to make sure everybody knows that. It's important that everybody remembers that and understands that. Um, no, you are not, R. Stoner. I'm very sorry to disappoint you. You are not, and that's just what it is. Um, Sometimes we all have to be silly. If we're not silly, sometimes, you know, the world is a very challenging place if we don't allow ourselves to be silly at times. And honestly, joining all of these different things, like following me on Instagram, following me on X, following me on Blue Sky, believe me, this stuff helps out big time. So, um, right, whatever it is, Discord, even Podbean, I have my channel there as well, though I rarely produce content on Podbean. It's helpful, and I'm grateful. I'm just curious now what we're at in terms of numbers on Podbean. Let's see. Yeah, the trolls are interesting. Um, well, helping people is absolutely key and is vitally important. I'm at 6.3 all-time downloads on Podbean, so we're working on it. But I leave links regularly. Even follow me on Medium helps out big time as well. So with that, I think we're going to be ending this stream. Find me on Patreon, patreon.com/square and compass. Find me tomorrow at 1 p.m. Thank you all for being here. I will talk to you all soon. Thank you all for joining. Staying mentally strong is incredibly important and not always easy. So if you can do it, more power to you. Um, it is truly, I mean, to join Patreon, yeah, it's free. There's membership levels as well, but it's also free otherwise. Probably not. All right, guys, I will see you all tomorrow at 1 p.m.